Today I'll show you how to create Christmas ornaments using iron orchid design stamps and IOD transfers, the perfect DIY Christmas project to add charm to your holiday decor. Welcome to the Chic Show. Today's playlist is hosted by Rustic and Lace DIY and Fidget DIYs. For these first two projects, I used the Be Below's mold by IOD. I ordered these pendant holders from Amazon and I inserted one of those into each of the molds while the resin was still wet. This will give me something to hang the ornament by. These are the two ornaments that I'm going to be working with today. I'm also going to be using some buttercream chalk paint from Dixie Belle, as well as some fine line crackle by Pent Art. I painted the ornaments with the buttercream, and once that was dry, I'm adding the first part of the fine line crackle. This is the one that is white in color, and I'm going to brush that fairly liberally on the front of both of the ornaments and then set them aside to dry completely. Once they've dried completely, I'm going to add the second component, and this one I'm going to try to do the least amount of strokes as possible. And again, I'm using a pretty liberal amount, and then I'm going to let that dry completely as well. Now you can see some of those crackles already forming, and I'm going to accent those crackles by using some dark wax, and that will get down in those cracks and really show them so it looks more like they are ceramic. Now I'm going back with some, I believe this is Gold Digger. I'm not sure, but I think it's called Gold Digger. And I am painting the tops of the ornaments. And then on the larger ornament, I am going to be painting the bottom of that. To the center of the ornament, I'm going to be using some of the gilded transfers from IOD. And you can see here the ones I'm using. Born as the King is going to go on the larger one, and then I'm going to use about 3 of the snowflakes on the smaller one. Now I did have a little bit extra rub down of the gold, and you can see that on where it says the King, and I tried my best to get that up. But it didn't completely come up, but it's still beautiful, I think. Now I'm going to add a couple of more snowflakes to the smaller ornament. For the back, I added some scraps of decoupage paper. So I'm just tracing around each of the ornaments onto the front of the paper so that when I cut them out, they will fit perfectly on the back. And for this, I'm using Mod Podge. I do have a small booth now, and I took these to my booth and failed to get a final picture before I took them in. So this is a close-up of what they look like. For this project, I used the Be Below's 2 mold from the IOD Christmas release from this year. I chose this little heart, and I painted the inside of it with the pink fusion paint. I believe it was peony. Now I'm painting the outside just with some Waverly chalk paint in ink. Once the black paint is dry, I'm going back with some acrylic gold paint, and I'm going to be painting over the black, giving that more of a brass look. Anytime I use gold paint, I like to give it a coat of black paint first. Now I'm using one of IOD's rub-on transfer scraps that I had in my stash. Again, this is another one that I failed to get a final photo, so here is a close-up. I thrifted this little Kleenex box recently, and I thought it would be perfect for a project. So I'm using Fusion Paint Victorian Lace on the top and all sides. now I'm using stamps from IOD. I believe it's called Gloria. It's the one with all the angels. And I'm going to be stamping two sides the same using two different stamps. So this side will get this little angel and the opposite side will get the same stamp. Then on the other two sides, I'm going to be using this beautiful angel. This is another stamp from IOD, but I can't remember what stamp set it's from, but I'm going to be using this onto the top on each side. Once that's done and the ink is dry, I'm going to go back with some Rub and Buff and just go over the edges. And I think this makes a beautiful addition to my bathroom. Thanks for hanging out with me for this festive DIY. If you loved these Christmas ornaments made with Iron Orchid Design stamps and transfers, be sure to like and subscribe. And for more Christmas and DIY fun, be sure and check out the playlist in the description box below. Thanks again to our hosts, and if you're looking for another video to watch, I recommend this one right here. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to share the chic. Bye now.